Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. Today we are going to be talking about your magnetic energy that draws people to you. So what is this magnetic energy that you give off that's making people attracted to you, making them want to know you more? We're going to be getting into all of it. And today we have a selection of different cards for you to choose from. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. And basically you're going to see which of these cards is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it, and then as soon as you make up your mind, just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump right into your pile. By the way, if you like how I read tarot and you want to see more of it, then be sure to head to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about who is hating on you and why. Why are they jealous? Why are they mad? And then another reading about when you're going to achieve your success and what that's going to look like, as well as one about your next relationship. But there is so much content to choose from over on Patreon. And like I said, you get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. They always get posted over there way early. So if that sounds good to you and you want to join me on Patreon, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be focused on tarot, astrology, channeling, mediumship, a combination, whether you want it to be quick, 30 minutes, or an hour-long, longer reading, you get to customize your time with me, so it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So that's about all I have to say, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey, pile one, welcome to your reading. So you guys picked this Dreams tarot card, and then you guys also got the Prince, aka the Knight of Wands, the Strength card, Ace of Pentacles, Six of Wands, and the Moon. So what's coming through with your energy right away is there's something very powerful about it. Like, I feel like people feel your energy when you walk into a room very strongly. They may notice you. Some of you guys may have prominent planets in the first house, like Venus, the Sun, Jupiter, things that just attract and command attention, Mars. I feel like you're very unforgettable. There's something about you that just makes a mark, and it's very dynamic. It's very full of life. You guys got the Knight of Wands, and so the Knight of Wands is very charismatic and just full of energy. Wands is like energy. So with you guys embodying that energy, I think there's something about you that just has a spark of life to it. Like, if the party is kind of boring or something has been happening that, I don't know, isn't that interesting? I feel like when you come in, you kind of transmute the energy of the room, and suddenly maybe you say something controversial just to like start a debate, or you say like, hey, let's turn on some music. But there's something about you that I feel like is just more full of life and energy and just kind of joie de vivre than other people, you know? It just feels like you have more life to you, more energy, more strength. And you could also be someone that lives your life very deliberately and kind of inspires other people to do the same. With the Moon card, I feel like there's something about you that's also very intuitive. It's almost giving me like Sagittarius vibes, like fire energy, but very spiritual, where I feel like you will follow your own intuition. You will follow what feels good to you, and that will lead you on these like crazy experiences and crazy paths that other people might be like, oh my God, what is pile one doing? They're insane. Like, I could see you guys being that friend that like doesn't post on Instagram for a while, and then the next time they do, like they're in Bali, or they're announcing that they just moved to like Colombia, or you know, they moved to some foreign country, they moved to part of like Africa or wherever, you know, someplace that maybe people wouldn't expect as well. Like maybe someplace that's far away from home, or just a surprise, and people are like, wait, what's going on? Like, I thought you were just working here in Wisconsin and now you're halfway across the world, you know? So I do feel like there's something about you that just marches to the beat of your own drum, takes people by surprise, and they kind of never know what to expect. And that, I feel like, makes you the main character. We did get the Six of Wands. So a lot of you guys may just naturally attract attention. You may feel like sometimes it's even annoying, like, oh my God, I just want to walk through this mall and not have people stare. Or I'm just trying to like keep it low key. Maybe I'm feeling insecure today and I'm showing up to this party. I don't really like my outfit. I don't want people looking at me, but they're always looking. People are always turning their heads. They're always noticing you, and you just stick out. That's why I said I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you guys have some strong planets in the first house, some eye-catching planets like the sun or like Mars or Venus. I feel like there's something about you that is just very like, okay, the star has arrived, like almost celebrity energy a little bit. So you could have those planets aspecting your ascendant as well, or like something like a Leo ascendant where people's heads will just turn. But yeah, I feel like you become quickly the main character, and people like talk about you when you leave and kind of like think about you. And they may even have very polarizing reactions. I do feel like someone who is not as confident or who is a little insecure or has some ego issues could be easily quite triggered by this, especially if they want attention and they're trying to, get some, like maybe they have a crush on the guy in the classroom or at work or whatever, and you show up and suddenly everyone's noticing you, everyone's talking about you, and that person is really not happy about it because they were the one who was trying to attract attention. So again, I feel like it's something you kind of have to be aware of, or that could be good and also bad. In the same way, like, for example, speaking of things aspecting the ascendant that are powerful planets, I can't believe I didn't even mention it. Pluto is conjuncting the ascendant or in the first house of so many famous celebrities, like the most famous ones, like Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Madonna, the biggest women in music have that aspect, Pluto in the first house or conjuncting the ascendant. And again, that's a very polarizing sign. A lot of those women, they get trash talked about them, and then they have people obsessed with them, and that is that kind of energy that you're going to have to deal with. It's not going to be like just, oh, I don't really care about this person. A lot of people have strong feelings about Taylor, Madonna, Beyonce, and they either love them or hate them. There's not as much of a middle road with those three of like, oh, they're okay, I don't really care that much. Yeah, they're fine. It's like, oh my God, I hate this person, or I love this person. And so I feel like you kind of attract that polarizing energy as well, where people really love you or they really hate you. They either want to be you and idolize you, or they like have it out for you, and it may be a lot of drama. And this is why some of you guys may sometimes go into hermit mode, because you're like, oh my God, I'm so sick of dealing with this. Like, I just want to go to this party and chill. And now this person is either obsessed with me, talking my ear off, telling me how awesome my outfit is, and like, we should hang out, blah, 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 and coming on way strong. Or the opposite, they are, kind of being a jerk to me for no reason, like hating so hard. And it just may be a little exhausting and tiring for you. People may also assume with that Prince of Wands energy, some of you guys may give off a vibe that you are very sexually seductive. You may be very sexually seductive even without trying. The Prince of Wands, Knight of Wands can be a player energy when you get it in like a love reading. It can be, depending on the other cards, a warning sign that like, oh, this person, yeah, they like you, but they like a lot of people, and they're playing around, and they know it. They know they're sexy. They know they have this confidence. And I feel like you could occupy that space if you wanted to harness your energy and be like a player, you could. A lot of you guys may choose not to, but people can sense that power in you. So they may also resent that about you. And you may find a lot of people getting triggered if like you're talking to their boyfriend, they freak out and they come over and they're really possessive, or they're angry at you and they stalk your social media, or you can just tell there's this jealous energy sometimes being directed at you from people who perceive you as a romantic rival. But yeah, I feel like a lot of times you do have that vibe of someone that is just really doing their own thing, kind of doesn't care what other people think. And again, I also think that gives you an attraction. Again, what's coming up for me is that Pluto conjuncting the ascendant or in the first house energy Beyonce, Madonna, Taylor Swift as great examples of that. And when you think about them, they're always like surprising people, right? They always have their own individual eras. I mean, Taylor literally calls her that, but like calls her different albums and like personas that. But Beyonce also has done the same thing. She's pivoted and done like house music and, you know, her cowboy thing and country music and all different kinds of iterations of herself. And then obviously Madonna reinvented herself a million times. And they're always like taking people by surprise. Like no one would have expected that Beyonce did country music, you know, or that Taylor Swift's last album was all about like a long situationship, but like people were like, why did she write an album about this? But it's always like successful, but it's always a surprise. It's never like, oh, this is the next logical step. That makes a lot of sense. She made a pop album that did really well. She's just going to do another pop album. It's always like one extreme to the other, you know, and just following their heart. And I feel like you guys give off that vibe. Like you're going to do what's authentically honest to you. And you're really going from that place of intuition. Again, with the moon card, you're going to follow your dreams and you're not really as caring as much what other people have to say or other people's advice or whatever. So I feel like it gives you this mystique. Like people are like, who is that? And why are they so independent minded? And it kind of inspires people. You may find you get a lot of copycats or you get a lot of people that, like I said, want to be you or aren't just like, oh yeah, pile one is cool, but they're like, wow, pile one's amazing. Oh my God. Or they may even have this angry, hostile vibe towards you and be like, oh, I hate pile one. They're so lame. But you notice they copied your haircut or they copied how you dressed or suddenly, you know, you moved, like I said, to Bali and now they're moving to Bali or something. And you're like, wait a minute, is this a coincidence? Because I feel like this has happened a lot. This person just seems to copy me, or a lot of people seem to copy you, because I feel like you polarize people and sometimes you bring out this envy, this shadow side of them, but it also is like a tower moment, like a plutonic triggering that makes them make a change and makes them decide like, it's time for me to pursue what's authentic and honest for me. And what do I actually want to do? And maybe I don't need to worry so much about fitting in with people. Maybe I need to be bold and be myself, you know? So there is this vibe of you really changing everyone. And I feel like people almost get drawn to you and they resent themselves for it. Like I said, I feel like you have a lot of probably people that on one hand are like jealous haters, but they also are obsessed. They also love you. And sometimes it may be hard for you to even know like, what the heck is going on? This person's such a jerk to me, but then they hit me up for advice, or then they copy me, or then they later want to be friends. And I feel like there is this initial triggering that happens because your energy is so powerful. So let's get into these cards for you. Pile number one. What is pile number one's magnetism that draws people to them? Let's see. Let's get one more card for pile one. Okay, great. So we got the resting tree, patience, stillness, resurrection, surrender to change, the rainbow prince, compensation, perseverance, and the well watcher, wisdom, power of the divine. There is this very like intuitive, deeply intuitive side to you, pile one, that I think some people don't always see clearly. Like they may not notice this about you at first. They may kind of get it wrong or think that, you know, you're not that deep or something. But I feel like you do give off kind of a witchy, intuitive vibe. There's also this resilience coming through, this power, this strength, where sometimes people may mistake you as like easygoing or chill. And then I feel like when the going gets tough, or if they try to talk some ish towards you, you can stand up for yourself. You do have that Phoenix energy where you are super strong and resilient. You know, you're not just gonna be like some wilting flower that's like, oh my God, you hurt my feelings, I'm gonna go cry. Like, you actually are very tough, and people can mistake you for being an easy target, or their envy could make them not even think through like, should I attack this person, and they just end up attacking you and being a jerk. And then I feel like you really hold your own. You have this inner backbone, this inner strength, and you're actually a lot harder to bring down than people may think at first. They may think, oh, pile one looks spoiled, or pile one probably had an easy life, or pile one, they get all this attraction from other people and they're just spoiled or something. They've had life too easy. And I feel like they make that mistake once, you know what I mean? Because you're actually very tough. You have a lot of perseverance. And I also feel like, again, you're always changing. You're always kind of dropping off the face of the planet, maybe like not posting on social media, or kind of ghosting, or like going away for a while, and then you pop back up and you're like, surprise, here I am still standing, and not just that, but thriving, and not just, doing okay, but this is my exciting new life. And I feel like people are always like, oh my God, how does Pile One do this? And you keep them on their toes. They kind of never know what to expect. You're like that. If you were a TV show, you'd be like a reality show or something that always has crazy twists and turns that you can't believe it's happening. Like you're like, oh my God, like what is going on with this show? This is the craziest thing. I would never have even expected this. I feel like people like literally watch you. And honestly, I do feel like Pile One, you guys have so many haters. I'm not going to lie. I hope that doesn't sound bad or depressing, but I'm just getting, you have so many haters that kind of like resent you or are jealous or want to bring you down. And I think as you like get older, a lot of you guys are going to be more protective of your energy, or some of you guys may go through periods where you really don't post a lot on social media because of this. And then I feel like it kind of comes to a point where you're like, I really don't care. Like, judge me all you want. I'm just going to post whatever I want. But there is this energy of very powerful, like, main stage energy, center stage energy, main character energy, where if you wanted to harness that, and some of you guys wanted to like do social media or be an actor or get in the limelight in some way, I feel like you could, because for better or worse, you just always have eyes on you. And again, some of you guys may really attract romantic partners. I feel like part of the reason you magnetize people to you is you have this strong zest for life. I'm seeing like someone, I know this is funny, but I'm seeing the image in my mind of like pasta, like pasta twirling on a fork in the sun in the Italian countryside. And to me, what that symbolizes, I guess that's why Spirit is using that as my symbol for this. The vibe I'm getting from you is someone who really savors life. Like in Italy, they have the concept of la dolce vita, which is like the beautiful life, the sweet life, the good life. Not just living life like, well, I went to work and then I ate a turkey sandwich and yeah, I had a soda I got from the vending machine. Then I went back to work, but like I worked a little, then I came back. I took a 2-hour siesta. I had the most amazing pasta dish. I smelled, the air around me in Tuscany and the beauty of it. And I think that's why, Italy is always the top tourist destination in the whole world. And the numbers are like crazy off the charts, Italy and France, because they both actually are cultures that kind of value taking the time out and not just having like some nasty, quick, convenient lunch, but like really savoring, really enjoying every taste and that flavor. And that kind of vibe, that attitude goes into other areas of life, like taking passion, taking pleasure out of even the small things. And that's a very like sexy, kind of sexual vibe as well, right? Because, a lot of people maybe like going through the motions in certain areas romantically, but they don't really care. They're not really in it, like that's why when you go to Italy, all the guys will be like, bellissima, ciao bella, because it's like they actually notice you. And a lot of us want to be noticed. We want someone who's alive and vivid and cares and isn't just like half dead, like, yeah, I played video games and I just slept and I don't really care. That's so unattractive and such a turnoff. And you guys are the total opposite. You just seem so alive, so vivid, so full of energy. And like if you were going to make a pasta, you would go that extra mile to like roast the tomatoes and I don't know, put some anchovies and garlic and capers in and like bring out all the flavors. And it would be like a flavorful pasta. It wouldn't be like just a microwaved Kraft mac and cheese. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. But, it would be something that like knocks your socks off with like, wow, there's so much flavor. This is so spicy. Or this is like, wow, I can taste every bite of this tomato, and I can taste the sun, and I can taste the passion and love. And I feel like that's the vibe you bring to your life and other people's lives. So honestly, like I said, you really inspire people. Why is this tilted, by the way? Let me fix that. I hope that didn't happen during the reading. Anyway, you really inspire people to live their best life and to kind of like pay attention to their life and everything that they've been doing instead of just going through the motions and living life how they've expected or how they are expected to. So I feel like in a way, that's one of the reasons why you do embody this Knight of Wands energy, and people can get very infatuated with you, enamored with you, because there is this passion and this pleasure, and the way you do things isn't just going through the motions or doing it mediocre. It's like, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right. You're going to do it big. You're going to go out of your way and make it something exciting. Let's get into these cards really quick for pile number 1. So what is pile number 1's magnetism that draws people to them? Okay, so we got beauty. You guys are definitely beautiful. Healing. Transformation. And finally, willpower. There's a lot of willpower and strength. I also think you have a feisty quality that makes you just seem kind of sexually interesting because, again, there's a lot of passion. There's a lot of spark. You seem like someone who would be passionate in the bedroom. And so, again, not to focus on just purely your sexuality, but I think this is something that really can dominate people's perceptions of you. And again, even if someone isn't romantically interested in you, they may notice this about you. They may kind of want to learn from you. And like I said, you may feel like you kind of attract low-key groupies where even if they're not like, oh, I want to sleep with pile 1, they may feel like, oh, I want to learn from pile 1. Pile 1 is so good at this. Pile 1 is so sexy and sophisticated, and I want to be like them. I want to be cool like them. I can see the effect they have on others. I can see that people are drawn to them. I can see that they have this passionate vibe and people are enthralled by them. And again, that's going to provoke a lot of jealousy in unhealed people, but it also provokes that admiration. And you may feel like sometimes you get like stalker vibes or people who are just obsessed. And it may be kind of tedious, like, oh my God, I'm just trying to live my life. I'm trying to go to this party. I don't want to spend the next 2 hours talking to you about like, what perfume do you wear? You smell so good. Wow, you're so awesome. We should hang out sometime. And it may sometimes feel like I just can't even have a normal conversation. Either people are hating and they're just like treating me atrociously, or I have people who are like obsessed and they're like a low-key stalker and they're just like looking at me wide-eyed like, wow. And it may be kind of annoying. You may feel like it's hard for you to meet people on your level or who just let you be like a human. Because I really do feel like some of you guys give off celebrity vibes. Like you really give off a vibe that, like a celebrity when they go out to eat and everyone's turning their heads at the table and trying to take pictures of them and whispering about like, oh my God, is that Justin Bieber? And you kind of sometimes give off that vibe, maybe even if it's just in your workplace or at your apartment complex or whatever, but like people really notice you and they probably only need to see you once to remember your face. I also feel like a lot of you guys do embody just this physical beauty. We did get the beauty card. So you are just attractive straight up, but I also feel like a lot of that is your energy and this kind of magnetic aura of, like I said, most of all, passion, pleasure, taking the value of life, stopping to smell the roses, and really like living life passionately, fully alive, not living life half dead or like muted or like, I'm not going to say that. I'm afraid. I don't know. I don't really care. Like you feel strongly about things. Like I said, if you were a pasta dish, you'd be like something spicy, like an arrabbiata or something. Like you'd be lots of red pepper flakes and, some kind of very like flavorful dish, you know, with like maybe lots of salt and brininess. Like I said, maybe some anchovies and capers, or I don't know, maybe like a pasta puttanesca with some red pepper flakes mixed in. But there's something about you that like people are going to taste you. People are going to, you have flavor. It's not just like a bland, like, oh, this is kind of good. I don't really taste much. It's like, wow, this is something I will always remember. And this person just really makes a mark. Let me get into some astrology dice for you. Pile number one. What is pile number one's magnetism that draws people to them? So we got Uranus, Taurus, and the fourth house, the moon. So you guys got double moon energy, even though in tarot the moon card is technically ruled by Pisces. Of course, in astrology it is ruled by Cancer, the moon. So the fourth house, Cancer, that is a very mothering energy. I mean, it is the mother of the zodiac, and I do feel like some of you guys embody that. I think you can be quite nurturing when people like look up to you. You're very protective, you know, and you kind of give off that almost like older woman vibe. Like I said, it's funny, like food metaphors are coming up because the two best cooks in the zodiac, I swear, are Taurus and Cancer placements, as well as I think Virgo placements can cook as well too, pretty well. But Taurus, of course, are the masters of food, and of course, nothing like mom's cooking, Cancer energy. But yeah, I feel like you guys are that, like, you really nurture people. And it's almost like how in life it takes you time to develop your preferences, right? It takes you time to develop your confidence. It takes you time to figure out what you like and what you don't like, what's attractive to you or not, what you enjoy. It takes time to master, for example, with cooking, different recipes and figure out like how to make this dish and that dish and whatever. And I think that's why sometimes, you know, certain men really love older women, or the MILF category is very popular, not to be TMI, but you know, so there is this vibe around like a mature woman who knows what she's doing and isn't just like, oh wow, we're going to the restaurant for the first time. Wow, I've never had this steak before. This is so exciting. But like, she knows what she wants. She's like, yeah, I've had this steak and it's okay. I think I'll get that steak, and actually I'm going to swap out this sauce. You know what I mean? Like, she's confident, she's sexy, she's passionate, she's lived life, she has this experience, and she's not a wilting flower. Like I said, she's not a little ingenue, naive, like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be here. She's like very confident. It's giving me like Monica Bellucci. I keep seeing Monica Bellucci, and it's funny, there's so many Italian references in this as well. But yeah, like the kind of like sexiness of a woman who is maybe in her body sensual, knows what she's doing, and she's not desperate for approval. She's not trying to get you to like her. She has this confidence from life experience. That's kind of what I'm getting. Even if you are, of course, younger, you may embody this energy, and maybe people sometimes think you're older, or you could even, you know, look young, but you just seem like someone who is confident, powerful, not shrinking away, not nervous. And that definitely, that is like mother Cancer energy, fourth house energy. Then we have Taurus, and of course Taurus is all about the senses. I mean, Taurus embodies sensuality and the, what is it, five senses? Six senses? I don't know. The five senses more than any other sign: taste, touch, smell, all of them. Taurus loves nothing more than like a delicious meal, or the feeling of silk sheets against their skin, or the smell of a spring day, which Taurus rules over that beautiful best part of spring, when you're just suddenly appreciating all the flowers and you're smelling the air and you are noticing how green everything looks, and you notice the natural world around you like no other time of the year. That's Taurus energy, and Taurians do that just naturally. And I feel like you guys embody that. Like, there's something about you that's so full of life. There's something about you that pays attention to the small details and is living your life to the fullest. Isn't, you know, just going through the motions of like, I have to get this job, I don't care, I'll just do whatever. But like, you really do care. Everything to you is like a passionate choice that you're making, and that you are making sure that you're making it that extra mile. You're adding that extra ingredient to a dish just to take it over the top. You're not like, well, this is easy, I'll just make this store-bought microwave meal. You're like, no, I'm gonna go the extra mile and make everything in my life perfect. And that's kind of an energy you embody. And then we also have Uranus. Uranus does not mind being different. Uranus marches to the beat of its own drum. Of course, it rules over Aquarius, which is also a fame energy because it rules the 11th house of large groups of people. But again, you have a lot of that. But Aquarius is very different, doesn't mind stepping outside or being outside of the crowd. And I feel like you really embody this so much. This is part of your magnetism and your appeal. People see that you're not afraid. You're not trying to fit in. You're not desperate for someone's approval. You really are like, this is me. I'm okay with it. And I feel like that gives you this power that makes people just drawn to you and makes people really, really kind of fascinated by you. Like they're not sure how you're able to stay so strong and stay so brave and just really embody your own energy and not care what other people think. So that is what I have for you, pile number 1. I really hope it resonates, guys. If it does, let me know down in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your thoughts, your stories, your reactions to things. So please let me know what you think. Also, if you want to see more of my readings, then be sure to head on over to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about who is hating or jealous of you and why are they hating, as well as one about when you're going to be finding your success, and before that one about your next relationship. But there is so much content to choose from over on Patreon, and you get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. They always get posted over there way early. So if that sounds good to you, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be focused on tarot, astrology, channeling, mediumship, a combination, whether you would like it to be shorter, 30 minutes, or a full hour-length reading, you get to really customize your time with me, so it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com. So thank you so much, and the link for that is in my description, by the way. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 2, welcome to your reading. So for your pick a card, you guys got this forgiveness card, and for your tarot, you got the 9 of Wands, the Feralt, aka the Temperance card, the 4 of Cups, the Justice card, and the King of Pentacles. So there could be something about your energy that is very unrelenting. I feel like you have a mystique about you because some of you guys will not tolerate any BS. There may have been a lot of people that you've cut off, or you may be very intelligent with a very keen sense of justice and not tolerating things that are unfair. It's almost giving me like eldest sister energy, or at least the eldest sister in my family, because it's like, I feel like I'm a pretty good arguer, but honestly, I feel like she's the one person in the world that I would like hate arguing with because she always has all the details on point. Like she always is able to verbalize things and keeps track of everything, and it's just so smart. A lot of, I feel like, oldest sisters are like this. Anyway, this is the vibe I'm getting from this pile, is someone that can really verbalize things very well, is very on point, is very analytical, maybe a very deep thinker, and has the potential to be very successful as well, and is not like desperate for approval. Like that's the thing. I feel like you are very almost like self-soothing or self-nurturing. You may not mind being on your own, or you may not mind spending a lot of time on your own. I feel like you have this independence about you that makes you very magnetic. Like people know they kind of have to act right and they have to come correct because you're not going to be tolerating any BS. You know, if they're not acting right, you're completely okay kicking them to the curb. I also feel like you do have this kind of concealed vulnerability about you that you don't always let out towards everyone. And maybe people can sense that beneath the surface. It's almost giving me also a little bit of like bad boy vibes. Like I always think of, I don't know, Jess from Gilmore Girls and his like leather jacket, like brooding all the time. And I think what made him such a popular character is the fact that he's like a bad boy and he's always wearing his leather jacket and whatnot. But he also has like a sensitive side and reads poetry. And I think that's what makes him more palatable than if he was just like this bad boy that was like beating people up and didn't have any emotions, you know? And so I feel like you kind of give off that vibe that like there's a toughness to you, there's a harshness to you, but also there's a sweetness underneath the surface, or there's a lot of emotionality underneath the surface. But yeah, you do seem a little bit tough. And people may really be intimidated by you with that Nine of Wands. Sometimes they may be like, I don't know if Kyle, you may have heard a lot of people saying stuff like, when I first met you, I thought you hated me. Or when I first met you, I thought you were such a jerk or a witch or whatever. Or when I first met you, like I was so intimidated. I didn't know what to say. And yeah, I feel like that's something you guys probably get a lot. I feel like people do see you as quite mysterious and a little bit of a wild card. Like there's curiosity there, but they may be too afraid to approach. So some of you guys may have not been asked out very much in your life. You may have had people like never ask you out, or you're like, I think that guy likes me because he keeps staring at me, but like he's never approached me. So I guess he doesn't. But I feel like a lot of that is, again, this intimidation and people feeling like they don't want to, first of all, like anger you. They don't want to be on your bad side or make you upset, because you do seem like someone a little bit who holds grudges or who wouldn't just forgive easily. I also feel like you do give off a very intuitive vibe. With the Four of Cups coming through, you may seem like someone who is super intuitive, and I'm getting like almost plutonic vibes, like someone who will fight you but also has that water energy and sees through to your core, and someone who is very unrelenting and strong but also does have that emotional side. Anyway, I feel like you guys, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you're so good at reading people, and you can see through to who people really are, like effortlessly. Like someone could be telling you something and you could just know like that's BS, they're lying. Or someone could be like, oh my gosh, let's hang out with like Eric, he's the best guy, and you're like, no, Eric's sketchy, I don't like him, and you're the only one who knows that. And then like all your friends are like, you're being too harsh, and then later on you get proven that everything you said was right. Again, I feel like you see things with a lot of detail. You know, you really see things through to their core, and you notice when someone is capping, hiding something, not being fully truthful. And I feel like you're also kind of not afraid to call it out or to cut them off. Like you're not going to do the fake nice thing. You're not going to pretend. You're not going to go through the motions and just like act like everything is cool. I feel like you aren't afraid of conflict. And again, that also adds to your mystique and your attractiveness. People um, see this boldness in you. And like I said, not being afraid to be alone, not being afraid to stand on your own 2 feet, or to be the one dissenting voice who's like calling something out. Like I feel like in a world where, you know, so many people are terrified of stepping outside the normal bounds of society and being like the weird one, you really embody this powerful plutonic energy of being like, I don't care if I'm the odd one out. I don't care if people judge me. I feel like some of you guys are going to be doing very well in Pluto and Aquarius, which Pluto just transited into Aquarius like a year ago-ish, a few months back. So yeah, I feel like as we move out of Pluto and Capricorn, which is all about fitting in, and Pluto in Aquarius, which is about being an individual, like this is going to be your time to shine, because you guys really embody this energy of like, I don't care if I'm seen as a weirdo. I don't care if I'm saying this controversial thing that no one else agrees with. So people could even find you a little bit dark or edgy at times. They may think of you as someone that sometimes they're afraid to see like, oh, what is pile number one going to say at the Thanksgiving table? Are they going to call out their uncle for like something crazy he said? Or are they going to be the one who speaks up to like dad and calls him out because he drank too much? Like you're the power player, you know, you're the one that is the wild card that people can't control you, threaten you into fear, make you shut up and just kind of like clamp down on you, because you will fight back. You know, you have this powerful strength within you, and you don't mind battling. You don't mind a little bit of conflict, and it gives you this rebellious magnetic quality. Like I said, like the bad boy, that's such a powerful archetype in, like romance novels or romantic books or movies or whatever. It's always like some guy that's like the rebel, by his motorcycle. It's never just like some boring dude that has a 9 to 5 job and is like really orderly and waits in line and is super neat. It's always like some guy with issues. And I think part of the reason why is because it's like we respect that archetype so much, and there's something so magnetic about that guy that isn't going to be held down by like society or being told what to do. There's nothing more powerful than that in a man or a woman, and I feel like you really embody that energy of someone that is a wild card, a renegade, almost like a wild Mustang, someone that is going to run free and not going to be controlled. And also, like I said, people know they have to come correct about this because you don't seem like someone who's overly dependent on what other people think, fitting in other people's energy. You seem like you're very self-sustaining. Like you make your own energy. You give yourself this warmth, this strength. You may be good at self-nurturing. You also may be just more mature than other people in a way. Like I feel like some of you guys, maybe you have good emotional regulation. Maybe some of you guys have been through some kind of trauma and it made you grow. But I feel like you're not as weak and vulnerable as other people. You're not as like stilted or needing help or like, oh, I'm just so messed up and I don't know what to do. Like you're very functional, and people can tell this about you. They respect this about you. You may also give off a vibe of success with the King of Pentacles. People may see you as someone who's going to be very wealthy one day or very successful in their career. There's kind of this intensity about you that you give off, and people just know that you're not like other people. You're not just an ordinary schmordinary person that is agreeing with everyone and doing the same thing that everyone else does. I feel like you also, a lot of you guys in this pile, you have multiple people from your past that may lurk your social media or want to be back in touch with you. And it's almost like they would love to reach out. But again, they're too afraid. They're afraid you're going to like curse them out and be like, why the F are you contacting me? Don't ever contact me again. You're blocked. Like there is something so unrelenting and powerful about you. Let's get into these cards for you. Pile number 2. What is pile number 2's magnetism that brings other people towards them? What is pile 2's magnetic energy that brings people to them? Let's get one more. Okay, perfect. Okay, let me fix these. So we got the Ringmaster of Scrutiny, the Shadow Queen. That's definitely a good name for you guys. And then we got Gaia's Garden, Fruition, Abundance, Reaping What You Sow, the Dream Walker, Dreams, the Collective Good, Illusion. Wow. Yeah, I feel like these cards really fit you. Let me pull these down so you guys can actually see what they say. But yeah, I feel like you definitely embody the Shadow Queen. You embody this also Dream Walker because it says the collective good. And I think something else that's attractive about you is you seem like someone who, as much as you have that hard, tough shell, you also will like fight for people. You also will be that person that speaks up about like injustice or says like, hey, this is messed up. Like I feel like if there was a crime happening and the bystander effect is a thing, and a lot of times like someone will be being robbed and then no one intervenes or everyone just walks past or everyone's too afraid to say something, and you'd be that person that like steps in or does something or helps them. You do have like a heart of gold in a way deep down. I feel like you're even rolling your eyes like, oh my gosh, that's so corny, heart of gold. But I feel like it's true. Like you are someone who is empathetic. You are someone who notices dysfunction. You're also probably someone who has called out dysfunction even in your family or in any system. Like you're the one who might stand up and say like, hey, we deserve to be paid more at this workplace, or I'm not coming around for Christmas if mom's going to get really drunk and start screaming at us, or, I'm not coming around if people aren't going to appreciate me. And I feel like because of that, you have like walked away from various situations, cut people off. And although people may have polarizing ideas about that, I do feel like at the end of the day, they really respect that. And it makes them like intrigued by you and respect the heck out of you and be drawn to you even more. Also, with the Ringmaster of Scrutiny card, again, there's this really strong intelligence that you guys give off. The Justice card to me is a very intelligent energy. It's very keeping track of lots of details, lots of things. And I feel like you really give off the vibe of someone who can handle a lot, is really, really smart, is a visionary in some ways, maybe could even write a book or, yeah, like have some kind of public speaking thing, be an expert in a field, and just really attracts so much respect to them. I feel like people may be magnetized to you also when you speak, which I feel like a lot of you guys are people of few words, to be honest, which can also add to your magnetism. People may feel like, wow, pile number two, they're always mysterious. Like, I don't know that much about them. You know how people will say on the first date, like, oh my gosh, this person talked my ear off. They didn't even ask about me. They just talked about themselves. And that can be a big turnoff. You're the opposite. I feel like people have to draw things out of you. And they may even feel like they know you, but they don't really know you that well. You know, like, um, I mentioned this before, but like my dad is a Scorpio and he's weirdly secretive about so much. And like I didn't know so many things about him. And then I'll talk to his like brother, my uncle. Like he told me, oh, your dad was like the state wrestling he dropped something about my dad being the state wrestling champion. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, you didn't know that? He was the state wrestling champion. And I was like, I didn't even know he did wrestling. He was the champion in the whole state. And he was like, yeah. And that's such a Scorpio thing. Like they just won't tell you stuff. And then later you have to find out and you're like, I'm like, why were you even hiding this? But that's a Scorpio thing. They really like that privacy. And it's intriguing, right? Like there's something about that where someone's not just telling you every detail and you kind of have to unravel. You kind of have to pull that out of them. You kind of have to like talk to them and unlock a door, and there's a mystique to that. There's kind of a, it almost feels like winning a challenge, winning a prize, you know, that lock that you have to really pick, or that the you know the key doesn't really fit and you're sorting through your keys and trying to find one, is so much more intriguing to see what's behind that than just the random door that opens easily. You know, it's kind of like how, I don't know, when there's a time capsule, we get so excited what's going to be buried in it. And sometimes there's nothing inside. It's just like some, I don't know, random piece of trash that someone buried. And they're like, oh, this wasn't even like a time capsule. Like someone just buried this box. But yeah, this wasn't an actual time capsule. But people get so excited when they like find something old from the past because it's hidden and you have to dig it out and you have to find it and use your tools to open it. And I feel like people get that vibe with you. Like they want to know more about you. You're not telling your business so easily, you know? And there may be a lot of lore about you, a lot of curiosity, a lot of hidden things that people can't really make sense of, you know? People may also, with this Shadow Queen card, it says acquiring knowledge, insecurity, manipulation. Some people, I'm not going to lie, pal, to people may find you a little manipulative. They may think of you as someone who is, they may be afraid of you for that reason. And people may, again, like just be afraid of you in general and think of you as someone who has a lot of power and kind of like keep their guard up around you because they're like, oh, I don't want to tell them too much, or like, I don't know, there's something about them I'm afraid of, pile number two. I don't know, I don't want to tell them too much. I feel like they feel this sense and this power and potential about you that, you know, you are so smart and you are so good with your words that if you chose to, you could probably, you know, wreak havoc on someone's life. You could probably manipulate them. You're good at psychology. You could probably get inside their head. I feel like most of the time you wouldn't even bother or care to do that because it's almost like beneath you. Like you're like, yeah, they're not that interesting enough to manipulate. Not worth my energy. But if you wanted to, I feel like you could because you are great at psychology. You know, there is this power. It's almost, there's this sense of like unused power around you. Like when you see a huge, massive stallion and it may be behind inside like a stable, inside its little stall, and it can't get out. And you know, like, oh, okay, this stallion isn't running anywhere and it can't attack me. And it's, you know, it's behind in its little cage. But there's a power to the muscles and you can just see it and be in awe. Or same goes for like a lion, you know, even though you know that lion is locked up in its cage, it's still going to scare you, or a tiger or whatever, or a big, huge gorilla, you know, that you can just see like, wow, that thing could rip me in two, even if it's behind the cage, even if it's just chilling and looking at you and like not, you know, not mad at all, but there's this fear and there's this knowledge that, if it wanted to, it could. But I do feel like when you decide to actually speak, actually use your words, you're really good at them. You're really succinct. You may have a really good vocabulary. You may just be very, very quick. And you could be quite an interesting conversationalist for that reason. You could be someone who's really good with your words and like always has something interesting to say, always has something interesting that they're thinking of. I feel like there's quite a lot of intellectual and emotional depth. You may be someone that like reads poetry or reads books or writes for a hobby. I feel like there's a lot going on inside your head. There's a lot underneath the surface. There's not just this kind of chill, like, oh, whatever vibe. There's a lot of thought happening. There's a lot of kind of like inner life happening with you, and people can see that underneath the surface. I always think of this, this is like water energy, how you can look at a lake or something and maybe it looks completely placid, but there's a rapid underneath. Like I think they said that's why a lot of people have drowned in Lake Powell, I think in Arizona, because it looks completely still on the surface, but apparently there's super strong rapids or something underneath. So people will go swimming being like, oh, it's really calm. And then they just get sucked down into this rapid. And that's kind of the vibe you give me as well, that sometimes people can tell with you that even if you're like, no, I'm good, like there's a like uncertainty. If you wanted to unleash, if you wanted to like go off, you could, and you could like destroy everyone in the office. You're choosing not to, but again, it's like restrained power. And if you chose to unleash it at any time, you could. Let me get into these cards for you. Pile number 2. Let's see, what is pile number 2's magnetic energy? Okay, so we got freedom, spirit guide. This one is manifestation and new beginnings. So this card right now, it's sticking out to me because it kind of looks like a little bit like the horned god Cernunnos from like Celtic mythology. And so this Cernunnos is definitely associated with the occult. I feel like you guys do have an occultic, scorpionic, 8th house energy. You seem like someone, maybe people even assume you might be into witchcraft. You may be able to read them really well. And this could even be on a very subconscious level, but you may give off a witchy vibe, kind of like, yeah, like a little dark-sided, I guess, where people may be afraid that you could hex them or that you are vindictive or that you're into spirituality in some way and they can sense that about you, and that may really scare them. You may seem like someone that isn't, like I said, trying to fit in or all about, like, yay, Merry Christmas, y'all. But like you're kind of, there's a dark side, there's a little bit of danger. There's a little bit of even judgment that you might give off, like this feeling that if someone came up to you and said something really corny, or they were like, happy holidays, everyone, we're all celebrating, you would judge them low-key. You'd be like, oh, that's lame. I also feel like people think of you as kind of cool because of that. Like you may have your own individual aesthetic that's very different, very unique, and it may have a hint of darkness. You may like to wear dark clothes, or not wear things that are super like happy floral vibes. You may be someone that likes to dress a little bit down in terms of like the color scheme. Like you're not trying to be the brightest, happiest in the room. You're trying to kind of like disguise yourself or cloak yourself, or subconsciously you're wearing dark colors. You're drawn to that darkness, and people, I feel like, get this vibe from you, and it does give you a magnetism and an attraction. Also with the freedom card, again, this vibe of you're marching to the beat of your own drum. You have seen kind of, I want to say outside the matrix, but that's such a horrible co-opted phrase now that's been used by some toxic people. But yeah, like I feel like you guys are the type to really see outside normal limitations or other people's judgments or whatever, and you're not buying into that. You are this individual thinker that marches to the beat of your own drum, and there is this power and strength in that I think people find really invigorating, really interesting. Also with new beginnings, it's giving that you're not afraid of things. You are welcoming that plutonic transformation. You are welcoming, if this has to end, okay, I'm cool with it, whatever. It doesn't bother me. And there is this inner strength and power, this kind of self-confidence that you embody for that reason. Let's get into some astro dice for you, pile number 2. So we got the 9th house, Sagittarius, Jupiter, which rules Sagittarius and Pisces. Then we have Leo energy. So let me spin this one more time since I don't like doubles. 12th house. Okay, so maybe it was Pisces that wanted to come out. So we have Sagittarius and Pisces, the 2 Jupiter ruled signs. And then we have Leo. So the 12th house, Pisces. Pisces is extremely psychic. Pisces is going to see through to who you really are. Pisces also rules the 12th house of hidden things, hidden places, jails, prisons, monasteries, convents, insane asylums. So there can be an element of Pisces people that they don't actually like that much attention, or they try to kind of hide away. And it can give someone a mystique, because whenever we can't see something clearly, we can be interested in them. Like, wait, what's going on over there? Even if there's nothing interesting happening, as soon as you put it behind like a private door, suddenly people are fascinated. And the 12th house is very, very psychic. And people with Pisces placements can often read people like a book. They can see through the BS. They can really see through to who someone is. I feel like you do give off that vibe. Pisces is also extremely creative and someone, like I said, that marches to the beat of their own drum and is not afraid to be a little bit different or weird. I really feel like you embody that energy that you're going to do your own thing. And if someone judges you, okay, I don't care. Then we have Jupiter. Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces, but focusing on Sagittarius. Sagittarius is an extremely intelligent energy in fire, very bold, very unafraid, and unafraid to like go there or be different or try something new. I feel like you do embody this also. Both Pisces and Sag, both Jupiter ruled signs, are extremely spiritual by nature. Jupiter is a very spiritual energy connecting through with God and higher spiritual lessons. I feel like you really embody this also. Both Pisces and Sagittarius are towards the end of the zodiac. They're both the final signs in their element. So there is this kind of very evolved quality to both of them. They may have incarnated a lot through other lifetimes and all the other signs. So by the time we're reaching the end of the astrological wheel, we're getting into those kind of like higher lessons. Like, it isn't our first time on this planet. We're not just like having to figure out the easier stuff. We're dealing with a lot of those harsher life lessons and a lot of the deeper spiritual meaning that may come at the end of our incarnations. And I feel like you embody that as well. There's a lot of this wisdom about you. There's a lot of this deep inner thought, inner dialogue, inner knowledge that I feel like does intimidate people. And Jupiter isn't afraid to be different. Sagittarius is not afraid to be different. This is why they rule the 9th house of travel. So it's, a house of traveling to another country and trying a dish you've never had before that maybe someone else would be like, ew, that looks so gross. Like, why are people eating that? And you're going to try it. Or why? Oh my God, but what if that hotel is bad? And what if you get scammed and you're brave enough to try it? So it is like being very open. It is exploring, and it's also prioritizing your higher spiritual knowledge over just like your safety zone, Then we have Leo energy. Leo is, of course, ruled by the sun. So Leo often is the center of attention. There's a boldness and a fieriness and a feistiness to Leo. Leos are very loyal and they will like fight someone for you. And they naturally command attention. They naturally are the center of the conversation. Leo is also the 5th house of your creative hobbies. I feel like you guys do seem very creative. I also feel like you naturally do get that attention, and people may sometimes resent that about you. But I feel like you don't even want it. You're not trying to seek out that attention, but you do get it anyway. Leo also is very bold, similar to Sagittarius. All fire signs have this boldness to them, this bravery to them, and this kind of unrelenting, like, I'm going to do things my way. I don't really care what you think, because this is what I want. And I do feel like you give off that vibe. You're not easy to control or negotiate with or get to fall under someone's thumb. You are this extremely kind of self-confident and self-reliant person that is going to do things their way. And yeah, I do feel like it gives you this magnetism, pile number 2. So that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that resonates. If it does, let me know down in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your thoughts, your stories, your reactions to things. So please let me know what you think. Also, if you want to see more of my readings, then be sure to head on over to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about who is hating or jealous of you and why are they hating, as well as one about when you're going to be finding your success, and before that, one about your next relationship. But there is so much content to choose from over on Patreon, and you get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. They always get posted over there way early. So if that sounds good to you, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be focused on tarot, astrology, channeling, mediumship, a combination, whether you would like it to be shorter, 30 minutes, or a full hour-length reading, you get to really customize your time with me, so it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com. So thank you so much, and the link for that is in my description, by the way. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So for your pick a card, you guys got this trust card, and for your tarot, you got the Ace of Cups, 3 of Cups, the Magician, 7 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Swords. So what's coming through, first of all, is a lot of people find you guys really fun. They love being in your presence. They love being in your energy. You may seem like someone who has a lot of friends or has lived this really interesting life and has a lot of lore. I feel like people see you as someone who's very emotionally capable, someone who is really good at making relationships work and is very functional in that way. And a lot of you guys may attract people who are not as socially skilled or who are a little insecure about their place in any kind of social hierarchy, because I feel like they see you as someone who can just manage all of that. Like, you're so good at making relationships work. There's something very functional about you, and there's something very bright and energetic about your energy. Like, you seem like someone that could just brighten someone's day or brighten the room. If someone is having a party and it's kind of like dull or there's not a lot going on, I feel like when you walk in, you can really change that energy and make it into a lot of fun. You can make it into like a really good day. Bring the fun. I feel like you have this natural radiance about you. It is giving me strong sun vibes, Leo vibes. Some of you guys may have sun aspecting the ascendant, sun in the first house, or a Leo ascendant, but it does make me feel like you light up a party, or you are that song that you put on that like everyone starts dancing. If everyone is like standing around kind of awkward, and then someone puts on like some song that just gets everyone singing along and everyone going, you would be that song. That would be you as a song version, okay? You are just someone that I feel like livens everything up and gets people flowing, gets things going, gets things talking. I also feel like there's an interesting vibe to you. Like, you don't seem kind of stuck in the mud, boring, predictable. People may assume you have a really interesting life, even if you're not doing a lot. And the reality is you're staying at home all day. I feel like people just assume you have so much going on, that you're probably like dating around, or you have all these these cool stories about that. People may assume that you have a lot of friends, that you have a lot of people in your life, and that you have a lot of options. Like you're always able to go out and do what you want to do. You're always able to have some kind of option. You really seem like someone who kind of has it all. And I feel like sometimes that could bring out a little bit of jealousy in people. But mostly I feel like you attract people who kind of want to learn from you. You may even feel like you attract a lot of people who view you as like a big sister or a bit of a mentor, someone that they can learn from, someone that they want to learn from. I feel like as well, you seem like someone that you're very in touch with your emotional side. You know, you're someone that maybe feels things very deeply, feels things strongly. And there's a vulnerability about you that I feel like also is interesting with the 10 of Swords coming out, and to a certain extent, the 7 of Pentacles. Sometimes I feel like people sense that, yeah, like things haven't always been easy for you, or you have been through some stuff, or that you're just the kind of person that, like, if you're feeling sad or upset, you have the bravery to communicate that and to be honest about that. And so I feel like it kind of makes other people open up to you as well. You don't seem so harsh or so judgmental. So you may find that a lot of people, just like I said, open up to you and tell you everything. You may feel like a lot of people kind of trauma dump on you sometimes as well, and just give you lots of information that you don't even want to hear, because I feel like they feel so safe around you, and they may feel closer to you than you feel to them. You may have had a lot of times when someone sees you as like a best friend or someone that they are super close to, and you're like, yeah, I like you, but I don't feel that strongly about you. You know, I'm not obsessed with you. I don't see you as a best friend. And that person is just like, oh my gosh, pile number 3 and I, we really bonded. We get each other. We're so close. Yeah, I feel like you kind of can talk to anyone or bring out that side in anyone. There's something so warm and welcoming and nurturing about you guys. You're not someone that is going to judge or be harsh or keep everyone at a distance. There's a lot of natural warmth, and I feel like because of that, you could probably date a lot of different people. There's probably a lot of people who would want to date you, or that you have the option to be with, because I feel like you're just one of those people that would be like really good on first dates or really good in relationships. So it's kind of up to you if you feel like being single or not. But if you're single, it is definitely by choice, because you definitely have the option to date basically whoever you want. You are good at talking to people. You're good at getting along with people. People generally like you, and for that reason I feel like you do have a lot of options, and that adds to your mystique. Like, people can tell that you are in demand. You know, they can tell that if this date doesn't work out with you, trust me, you're going to have plenty of other options. Or, you know, that if they're getting to know you as a friend, that you probably have other friends. You're not going to be sitting around desperate for company. If you want company, you can probably make it happen. Let's get into some of these cards for you. Pile number 3. So we want to know about pile number 3's energy that magnetizes people to them. The magnetic energy that pile 3 gives off. What is it for pile 3 spirit? Okay, so we got the Ringmaster of Scrutiny, discernment, clear vision, details. This one is the Eyes of Beauty. Then we have the Web Weaver, synchronicity, divine intelligence, cause and effect, and the Ice Queen, ideas preserved, non-action, entitlement. So I'm actually seeing someone with like tears when I tune into that Ice Queen card. And again, I feel like it really embodies this kind of vulnerability that you give off, this kind of sweetness that I feel like people are very intrigued by when it comes to you. You know, I think what's different about you, you may open conversations for people to talk about their vulnerabilities. And when everyone else is trying to prove how cool they are or how strong they are or how tough they are, I feel like you're that person that would be like, no, I completely bombed with this, or I didn't do well with that, or like, actually, I had a lot of trauma with this. And like, you're very open. I feel like that makes people almost a little bit wary of you sometimes at first, or they might be at first like, what, why are you telling me this? But over time, there is this deep sense of safety and trust that develops with you as they realize that you're this safe space. And I honestly feel like pile number 3, you guys have a lot of emotional wisdom and emotional maturity. Like some of you guys would be amazing parents because I feel like you're very non-reactive. You're not going to like freak out and melt down if something is going wrong. I feel like you have developed some level of maturity, maybe from your past lives, maybe from earlier events in this life. But it's almost like if someone throws something at you or hits you with some crazy event, you're not going to panic and freak out and lose your mind over it. You're going to be very calm. You're going to be relaxed. You're going to kind of understand what's going on. And you're not someone who's going to be really volatile or just handle it in a bad way. I feel like there's a lot of intelligence emotionally with you. And there's also a deep understanding maybe of psychology. You are very intelligent, and that's why we got this Ringmaster of Scrutiny card. So I feel like some of you guys, there is this creative side as well. You could maybe write a book. I feel like a lot of you guys, like if you did write a book, the characters would be so well developed. You know, all the details would be really great, especially emotionally. You know, you're great at understanding people's motivations, their inner life. It wouldn't be like, wait, why is this character doing that? That makes no sense. Or, like I thought that they had this kind of relationship, but now they're doing this. All of it would like make perfect sense, and it would be very, very deep. And like I said, I feel like a lot of you guys have a lot of intelligence when it comes to creative projects. So even if you were painting or doing photography, you are someone that I feel like can really understand people's motivations, see through the BS, see past the surface, and you have a lot of natural empathy as well. So you're not going to judge them once you understand their motivations. You're really going to connect with them and see who they are. It almost gives me a vibe of like a saint, or the way that sometimes like, I don't know, nuns would like come and manage orphanages, and maybe all the orphans would love a certain nun and be like, oh my gosh, or there's like a teacher at elementary school that all the kids are obsessed with and all the kids just think is like so perfect, and they look up to them, almost like Cinderella vibes. I feel like some of you guys do give off like that fairy tale princess vibes. You know how like the fairy tale princesses would talk to animals and would like be able to commune with them, and all the mice would come to help her, or the birds or whatever. I feel like you give off that vibe. Like you're someone that has this sweetness about you and this kind of purity about you, genuine purity, not like, oh, I haven't experienced anything and so now I'm pure, but more like, I am pure in my heart no matter what gets thrown at me. I'm always going to be a kind person. I'm always going to be a sweet person. And I feel like that makes people really like in awe of you, because you're not a jaded jerk like a lot of people are. You haven't let things harden you or make you closed off or cruel. And you may have just a natural grasp of aesthetics. We literally got the eyes of beauty. So I feel like a lot of you guys are just naturally physically beautiful. You have a grace towards you that draws people in with you. Maybe to the way you move, maybe to the way, you know, your body moves, you walk, you dance, you gesture. But I feel like there's this beautiful grace about you, and just a natural, like you're very in touch with your Venusian side. A lot of you guys may have, Libra, Taurus, or Pisces placements. So Libra and Taurus are both ruled by Venus, and then Pisces is where Venus is exalted. And I feel like a lot of you guys may have placements in that where you just seem very charming, very graceful. You have a natural grasp of like how to talk to people in a way that's not jarring or overbearing. If there's like a fight happening, or there's some kind of disagreement, or maybe someone needs to like ask the waiter for something, and you know, people are afraid of like, how do we handle this? You might be that person that knows exactly how to ask and is very genteel and very well spoken. Some of you guys may have excellent manners, and people may assume even that you grew up with a lot of money or wealth because you just seem very well bred. You seem like someone who has really great education, and also who has an eye for aesthetics, of fashion, of how to dress and adorn themselves. And you may give off a vibe that you can fit into very high-end spaces, kind of 10 of Pentacles spaces. So people may think like, hey, if I have to go to a fancy dinner, let me invite pile 3 because they're the one who's going to definitely impress, all the other fancy people at this place or my boss or whoever it is. Because there's something about you that I feel like is a little bit bougie and refined, but there's a lot of beauty in that. There's a lot of gracefulness with how you carry yourself. And I feel like that goes through to your creative choices as well, how you choose to dress yourself, how you choose to adorn yourself, maybe with your makeup and your hair. There's a really deep connection to beauty that you guys have. And I also feel like some of you guys are very connected to elementals like fairies, where you may have that kind of fairy-like or mermaid quality that is just beautiful and taking pleasure in the small things in life and kind of mischievous or fun. There's almost like a laughing, playful quality that I feel like a lot of you guys give off that I think people find very, very attractive and kind of magnetic. Let me get into these cards for you, pile number 3. So what is pile number 3's magnetism that draws people to them? What is pile number 3's magnetic energy that they give off? Let's see. Okay. So we got freedom, psychic abilities, compassion, and career. Definitely you guys give off that psychic abilities energy. It is giving me water energy. I could definitely see Pisces for this pile. And kind of that compassionate side of water that sees through to people's flaws, uses their psychic abilities for good, is highly empathetic, is probably really good with children, and is probably really good with connecting with someone who's having a rough day or going through something. Like I said, a lot of you guys may find that people trauma dump with you. I wouldn't be surprised as well if animals and children are drawn to you and you just find yourself attracting all kinds of different people or having friends from all different types of walks of life. And people may sometimes be like, why are you hanging out with that person? Or like, oh, I don't know, that person doesn't look on your level, or they look kind of janky compared to you. But I feel like you are very seeing someone through to their core and seeing someone through to who they are. And again, I feel like that gives you a magnetism in general because people can almost feel like warm with you, open with you. They can feel like they can relax around you and you're not going to judge them. You do give off this energy of like a bright, sunny summer day or spring day. I feel like a lot of people really notice your compassion. They notice your empathy, and it gives you this kind of gentle, fragile quality, almost like a beautiful porcelain doll that people don't want you to see too much darkness. They don't want to break your heart. So you may find that like your romantic partners get very protective of you. They want to look out for you. I feel like people could also become kind of obsessed with you. You also seem like someone who's very connected to the astral plane, pile number 3. You seem like someone who's very psychic and, like I said, connected to the astral plane. Like you are intuitive. You are seeing things that may not just be there. Like you might meet someone and you can tell that they have some kind of childhood trauma or they went through a heartbreak with their last relationship. And you have a way about you of like drawing that information out, making them feel comfortable, and then maybe asking them out about it so they can start healing and they can start bringing that up and talking it out. And I feel like a lot of this is so intuitive because you are connected to the astral plane. So I feel like people want to be with you because of that mystique, because they feel like when I'm with pile number 3, I can access the astral plane too. I can get downloads. I can feel connected with spirit. They may even imagine that sex with you would be very transcendent, would be somewhat spiritual. It would be something that wouldn't just be a physical act. There would be a spirituality about it. I also feel like you guys are the type that you just take pleasure and joy in every little thing about life. You're the kind of person that would stop and smell the roses. You're the kind of person who would maybe get giddy and excited on like the first day of spring, or who would be, if someone gave you a gift, you wouldn't just be like, oh, Thanks. Okay, great. You'd be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I really wanted this. Thank you so much. And there's just something really uplifting and almost childlike and youthful about your energy that I feel like makes people want to spoil you, makes people want to be generous with you. It makes people want to see that beautiful smile lighting up your face. So you may find people actually get very protective of you. Friends and romantic partners may be very protective and kind of look out for you. And it kind of is making me think with this freedom card of sometimes you may find people try to kind of put you in a cage or try to pin you down because I feel like they see you as someone who's so valuable and rare, and they know that other people will be so attracted to you. So romantic partners or even friends may sometimes get a little possessive of you or try to limit your actions, or you may feel like a little stifled. And I feel like that's because they know that other people are going to be attracted to you. You really do have this attractive magnetism. Like a lot of people would be attracted to you, pile number 3. A lot of people would see you as beautiful. Like I said, it's giving like Disney princess, and who would think any Disney princess is not like totally beautiful? They all are beautiful in their own ways. But they all have this similar sweetness to them and kind of like kindness and very loving energy that I feel like is what unites them and makes them give that Disney princess vibe. And so I feel like that's the energy that's coming through with you that makes people realize like, oh my gosh, anyone would want this person. It's not just about my preferences, or I like this, or I have a thing for a certain aesthetic. It's like, this is a universal preference. Everyone would want to be with someone like this. Everyone would find this person attractive. So yeah, I feel like for that reason, sometimes you may find romantic partners or even friends get weirdly possessive of you, try to kind of pin you down and like control you a little bit. And I feel like that's almost because of unconscious fears you bring up, where they are like afraid you're going to run off, and they know that you have so many options. They know that you could have your pick of people to date, and so it stresses them out, and then they act in a low vibrational way of like, let me just like try to lock them up, and they're not meaning to do that. But I do feel like you bring out that side also because you do seem so open and trusting, and you seem like someone who doesn't limit yourself or isn't someone who's like really judgmental and needs to have a really rigid schedule. You do seem like someone that like marches to the beat of your own drum and lets life take you where it wants to. You kind of go with the flow of things. And so I feel like sometimes that brings out a little insecurity in other people and makes them maybe act not in the best alignment with their higher self. But you are very in touch with your higher self. Let's get some astro dice for you, pile number 3. Okay, so we got Gemini, we got the 8th house, and then we have Mercury. So, double Mercury. Okay, let me spin this again. Let's see. Oh, let me spin that one more time because I think I stopped it from rolling. Okay, Venus. Okay, great. So we have Gemini, we have the 8th house, and then we have Venus, so Taurus or Libra. So Gemini, of course, is ruled by Mercury, and Gemini really embodies this energy because Gemini is so curious. Gemini loves to learn. There's an openness with Gemini. Gemini is on that same axis with Sagittarius, so the 9th house of travel, and then Gemini is the 3rd house of short-term or local travel. So there's this same curiosity you see with Sagittarius that causes people to like travel across the world that you have with Gemini, but a lot of times Gemini likes that through books, reading, kind of like Belle from Beauty and the Beast a little bit. She definitely gives off Virgo vibes too. But I feel like Gemini is relentlessly curious, always got something new to talk about or explore. They're great conversationalists as well. They can really talk to anyone and connect with anyone. And again, I see this as something that's very emblematic of you. Like, you have this curiosity, you have this almost restlessness about you. You're not a boring person, and people, when they meet you, they may assume you have quite a vivid inner life, that you're always learning, that you're always changing, that you're always growing, and that you're kind of like always keeping people on their toes. You're not going to be stagnant. Like, I feel like people can feel that if they check your Instagram, and they haven't checked it for a while, there's going to be a totally new cast of characters, totally new aesthetic, or you're just on something new. You have a new project. Feels like you're always kind of like exploring, changing. You're very wide-eyed. You have this curious youthfulness to you. Like you seem like someone who is, always you may literally look younger than your age, and you give off a youthful vibe. And it's funny because Mercury really is connected with youth. So a lot of people who have prominent Gemini or Virgo placements will literally look younger than their age. And I feel like you do give off that vibe of someone that could pass for 5 or 10 years younger, or just looks young their whole life. Because part of it is you haven't settled into this jaded energy of like, life is just hard. And instead, you're still like excited for things. You're still excited for that ice cream cone, or for, like I said, the first day of spring, or change of seasons, or, a new relationship, or if someone gives you a gift, you're going to get giddy. You definitely have this youthful quality that Mercury really embodies and connects with. Then we have the 8th house of Scorpio. So the 8th house is the house of other people's money. I do feel like some of you guys may attract like people who want to provide for you, take care of you. Some of this, again, the 8th house can be a house of possessiveness and sometimes control. So I do feel like some of you guys, the shadow unfortunate part of this is sometimes you may attract partners who may try to control you out of a sense of fear, like, oh my God, pile number 3 could leave me, so let me try to control them, or let me use money to, have call the shots or whatever. So that could be something that is frustrating for you at times. But I do feel like the 8th house is, it's it is a powerful house of transmutation. It's also a psychic house. It's very intuitive. I feel like also the 8th house is a house of trauma. It's a house of, darker sides of issues. So I feel like a lot of you guys, you bring that out in people, and you really do help them heal those things. You help them work through issues that maybe they buried deep in the past a long time ago, and you're the one who can help them purge that and work through that and really become the best version of themselves, because you see through the BS. You don't just accept the same narrative that they're showing to everyone else, like, no, I'm fine. You can see through that with your beautiful psychic ability and your connection to the astral plane. So I feel like you help a lot of people heal, and people who need healing may be drawn to you for that reason. Then we also have Venus. You guys definitely embody Venus energy. I mentioned that earlier in the reading. Taurus and Libra vibes for sure, as well as Pisces vibes. There is that energy of just the beauty and grace of Venus, and the way Venus takes pleasure in life, the way Venus isn't just rushing through being pragmatic and feeling like, just very practical. And there may be something about you that sometimes is a little bit almost silly, or kind of like I said, impractical, where someone's like, oh my gosh, are you really eating ice cream for lunch? Or wait, you haven't applied for jobs today? Or like, why are you wearing that outfit? It's so over the top. But I feel like you really have this, again, youthful playfulness to you. You take joy in life. You really wring out every moment of pleasure and happiness from things. And you may inspire other people to do the same because of that. You're not just this jaded energy going through the motions and accepting that life is so awful. It feels like you really try to make life joyful, happy, positive. And I feel like this gives you a huge amount of magnetism, pile 3. People are really drawn to you and see you as someone who's very, very special, someone who's super unique, and just a little gift to have in their life, to be honest. So that is what I have for you, pile number 3. I really hope that resonates, guys. If it does, let me know down in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your thoughts, your stories, your reactions to things. So please let me know what you think. Also, if you want to see more of my readings, then be sure to head on over to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about who is hating or jealous of you and why are they hating, as well as one about when you're going to be finding your success, and before that, one about your next relationship. But there is so much content to choose from over on Patreon, and you get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. They always get posted over there way early. So if that sounds good to you, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be focused on tarot, astrology, channeling, mediumship, a combination, whether you would like it to be shorter, 30 minutes, or a full hour-length reading, you get to really customize your time with me, so it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com. So thank you so much, and the link for that is in my description, by the way. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, Pile 4, welcome to your reading. So for your pick a card, you guys got this closure card, and for your other cards, you got the Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, the Feralt, aka the Temperance card, the High Priest, aka the Hierophant, and the Chariot card. So wow, there's a lot of powerhouse energy coming through. We got double King and Queen of Pentacles. So that's King and Queen of Earth energy. We have a lot of Earth here. The High Priest is also ruled by Taurus. So I do feel like you guys give off this vibe of someone who's very stable, very powerful. There's a lot of earning potential as well with the Queen and King of Pentacles. And there's a bougie quality. So you may have this magnetism in how you dress, how you choose to adorn yourself. And also, I feel like you're good with boundaries. You feel like someone that isn't going to welcome anyone in, like any person who wants to hang out with them or any person who wants to be around them. There still might be some discernment and some choosiness from the King and Queen of Pentacles. So you may be someone that, as much as you have someone who's trying to talk to you or trying to get you to come somewhere, like you're going to kind of be a little suspicious, or you're not going to let them in until you know that you can trust them. There's also a very sensual quality when it comes to Earth. So you could have a magnetism that's literally rooted in your physical body and about physical touch. You may seem like someone who's kind of like just good in bed, or someone who is very in touch with their senses, someone who, cares about the texture of their sheets, or if they're tasting someone, they're going to really taste all flavors for it. There's also a perfectionism when it comes to Earth. It's not going to do something halfway. So I feel like for you, that can add to your magnetism too, and it can be a very sexually alluring quality. Someone that's going to make sure that job gets done, someone who is going to commit to you and really mean it, or someone who in the bedroom is not really, not to be TMI, but like not going to stop until someone is satisfied. There's a capableness to Earth that you don't really see with any of the other signs. So of course, Earth signs would be Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, and they're always going to make sure things get done right. And I feel like you really embody this energy. So people may really feel like, wow, pile number 4 is a powerhouse. I also am getting the vibe that there are a lot of people from your past that are just saying basically like, I didn't even really appreciate pile 4 at the time. And now that time has passed, I see how thorough they were. I see how it's almost like there's a quietness to your energy, like there's not such a loudness or such a attention getting quality. It's almost like you want to fade into the background sometimes. And I feel like it's funny because sometimes people are saying they will underestimate you, or in the moment, they'll kind of take you for granted, and then later on be like, wow, pile number 4 did so much for me, or pile number 4 did everything perfect, or there's this level of success, there's this level of excellence around you, I also feel like, again, you give off the vibe of someone who is a little discriminating, not in a bad way, but like you're careful about who you spend time with. You're not just going to let anyone else in. And that could give you a mystique and an attractiveness, because I feel like there is this mystery, and just like anything that's concealed becomes interesting and attractive to us. I feel like the fact that you're not trying to be the center of attention, there's almost this gentle quality to you where you're like, no, like you guys get the attention. That's cool. Like I'm fine fading into the background here. It doesn't bother me. That I feel like really makes people fascinated by you. And they may not even notice you at first, but over time it's like, wow, there's something really here about pile 4, and it's almost more attractive that they didn't go out of their way to be attention to get the attention. It's like, when you're at a party or at a bar and you can almost see someone like overly self-conscious trying to get the attention on them, like maybe they're laughing too loud, or they're trying to dance on the bar, or they're trying to get someone to notice them, and you can just feel this energy of them like glomming on, trying to get everyone to look at them, trying to get everyone to notice them. And it can be so unattractive versus someone who's kind of like confidently standing in the back corner, not really caring if anyone looks. And that's probably the person you're going to be more drawn to. That's probably the person that's going to really capture your eye and capture your energy. And you're going to be thinking about them later, Also, there is just this, like I said, sensuality to earth energy, like being good with their hands, being someone who is in touch with their body, someone who's in touch with like the five senses. That's very earth energy. So touch, taste, smell, all those things, and isn't going to give up if something gets hard. So I feel like sometimes you may even have people who are a little bit afraid of you, pile 4. Like if you're interested in someone, you may feel like sometimes they initially run away and you're like, wait, what the heck? Like I was into you, so why are you running off? But I feel like it's because people kind of know that like a relationship with you would be very all encompassing. Like it would be the real deal. And anyone who's going through a fear of commitment, or they're feeling not ready for that, like they might panic and kind of freak out and be like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for this with pile 4. Like, wow, pile 4 is so attractive and they're bringing so much to the table, but like, how am I in my life? They may even start questioning themselves and making a lot of changes or trying to improve themselves after being around you, because they can kind of see this discriminating quality that you have, that you're not going to tolerate the BS. And also sometimes people may feel like, yeah, being with you is like being in the major leagues or something. Like you're like an A-level type person, you're like a high level type person, and they may not be sure if they're ready for that. The high priest is ruled by Taurus, which is a sign of stability and long-term, all of earth is about commitment, and definitely Taurus energy is about stability, predictability. So sometimes people may even find themselves a little freaked out when they first meet you, like, wait, pile number 4 expects a lot from me. Pile 4 wants stability, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I can, I don't know if I can handle this. I don't know if I am powerful enough, or if I'm ready to leave my dysfunction behind. But I feel like you guys really give off this beautiful patient vibe. Like you seem like someone who is very mature. You seem like someone who, you can be gentle. They can trust you. Over time, they may realize like, oh, pile 4 isn't going anywhere, and they're not actually demanding that much of me. And you know what? I actually really love this, and I can feel safe around them. I can feel calm around them. And that makes me want to be with them. That makes them so much more attractive than someone that is just maybe like extremely loud and attention getting at the beginning, and they may seem glamorous, but there's not that much going on underneath the surface. I also feel like you guys may have a lot of things, like I said, happening underneath the surface. You may be someone that has a really vivid, rich inner life, has a lot to say, but at first you're not going to be the most talkative. You're not going to be the person soaking up all the energy or getting all eyes to look at them. You're maybe going to be quiet at first or hold back a little bit at first, but then over time, it's like people know they can trust you and they can really feel like they open up to you. Let's get into some more cards for you, pile number 4. So, we want to know, what is pile number 4's magnetic energy that brings others to them? What is pile number 4's magnetic energy that brings others to them? Okay. So we got Gaia's Garden, Sisters of the Seasons, Cycles of Growth, Natural Law, Divine Order, the Hawk Prince, Spirit Communication, Paying Attention, and finally the Diamond Dreamer, material wealth, true prosperity. So there's a lot of wealth energy coming through. You guys got Gaia's Garden, and you also got the Diamond Dreamer. So again, people may just think that you are either destined for success or that you have this really cool aesthetic. They may assume that you're just wealthy. You may give off wealth vibes, or that the way you dress is so cool, so avant-garde, or just the way you put things together. They may assume that you're kind of bougie or that you have a wealthy background because of how you step out in the world. I also feel like there is this vibe of having a great aesthetic fashion sense, being able to put things together and being able to really put together an outfit that other people will admire and people will think is cool. So again, people may project on you that you have a lot of money, or that you're going to have a lot of money, or that you grew up with money. And also just the way you adorn yourself may be something that a lot of people find attractive, really like, and really enjoy. I also feel like there's this loyalty coming through with you. You guys got Sisters of the Seasons, and I feel like you are, like I said, that ride or die, that you are always going to be someone that people can rely on, people can trust, people know that they can go to you. Like if things are hard or things are tough, you are kind of like a port in the storm, like you're not going to change. You're like that rock that is always dependable. You're not going to run as soon as things get hard or things get difficult. And I feel like as well, you're someone that people can kind of trust to be there, and maybe even be like this rock, this backbone for them, that you will fight for them, you'll take care of them, you'll look after them, and they know that like your word is your bond. Like if you say something, then you really mean it. You guys also may have spiritual gifts or spiritual abilities with that Hawk Prince card. I also feel like you notice every detail. That card says spirit communication, paying attention. So I feel like there's something about you where you really notice things, and you may be that exacting energy that like if you're going to cook for someone, you're going to cook right for them. You're not going to be like, oh yeah, I made this, I didn't really follow the recipe, it kind of got burnt, but whatever. Everything is going to be perfect. Like everything, if you're dicing up tomatoes or carrots, they're probably going to be diced in perfect uniform slices, every slice the same size, every bit the same size. And, maybe you set a timer as you're cooking, or you do it exactly right. And I feel like this gives you this overall perfectionism and, like I said, attractiveness about you that people are really drawn to, where they're like, wow, pile number 4 really knows how to do it right. Pile number 4, they're not coming in with some janky energy halfway, kind of like a mess or a disaster. You may be very put together, pile 4. You may be someone who's very well presenting. Like if you're going to go hang out, you're not going to show up in like a mustard stained shirt and like everything's wrinkled and disheveled. You're going to show up looking good, and that matters. Your physical presentation may be something that a lot of people find very impressive about you. You may also be someone who's really good with your words, really good with language. If you have to meet someone's parents, you can present yourself well. You're not going to make a fool of yourself and say something crazy and just be like too drunk and be a disaster. You're going to be someone that's going to be able to manage that, handle those difficult situations. I feel like your confidence gives you a magnetism. Your competence, I was saying. You're just very competent. Like you can handle a lot. People may see you also as highly intelligent for that reason. And they may feel like they can trust you. It's almost like you give off wifey, husband vibes. You're not just like a short fling. You're not like someone that like, oh, yeah, they're attractive and I'd hook up with them, but they're kind of a mess. No, I feel like you seem like someone that can manage so many different things and is so competent and is so like you could trust this person in any situation. You may be a lot of people's like emergency contact or whatever in case of emergency. ICE contact, where they're like, okay, I know pile number 4 will show up for me. I know pile 4 has got this. And a lot of people may also feel like you have a reservoir of knowledge, like you know so much. Like if they ask you some random trivia question that you would probably know the answer, you just seem like you're very functional, like you know a lot. You may have a lot of random bits of knowledge about a million different topics, and you could probably talk to pretty much anyone and hold your own. If you had to talk to the president of a company, the president of the United States, the president of another country, the king or queen of England, whatever, you would be able to manage it. You would be able to handle those conversations and make a good impression and like keep up with the etiquette. You wouldn't make a fool of yourself or embarrass yourself or anything like that. So yeah, I feel like this gives you this magnetism where it's almost like people feel like they can relax and trust in your presence. And it's like, oh, okay, Pile 4 is handling this. Pile 4 has got this. I don't need to worry. Like, yeah, I can kind of chill out a little bit because, yeah, they've got this handled. Let me get into these cards for you. Pile number 4. Okay, pile 4. What is pile number 4's magnetism? Magnetic energy that brings others to them, attracts others to them. Is this another financial card? Yes, it is. Financial health. Wow. You guys definitely give off that magnetism of wealth, abundance, success. People may assume, like if they see you walking around downtown and you're wearing a suit and you're working at your waiter job, they may assume you're wearing that suit because you're the CEO of a company, or you are, not just the intern, you're the president. And they may come up to you and be like, hey, like, you're the CEO, right? And you're like, no, I'm actually the secretary or something. Because you definitely embody this wealth energy and this competent energy that so many people pick up on. So many people see as like, wow, like Pile 4 has got things handled. You know how a lot of people stress out about like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I have to meet my girlfriend's parents, or I have to meet my boyfriend's parents. I feel like those kind of meetings would be easy for you because, you're just great at handling them. You may literally give off a vibe of being slightly older than your age, and someone that, has this level of maturity, has this level of depth, can handle really deep conversations. People may not be afraid to bring things up to you that are like dark or upsetting because you can manage that. Also with beauty, again, I feel like you seem well taken care of. You seem like someone that would like maintain your haircut and make sure it's looking good, or spend that extra time like curling your hair before you go out, or straightening your hair before you go out, or whatever it is, putting together your outfit, making sure you look good. And I feel like you literally make that amazing physical presentation. People can really tell that about you. You also seem very career focused. We got career, you guys got the King of Pentacles, so many financial cards. So I feel like you also have this natural ambition about you that gives you a magnetism. You seem like someone who's going places. You know how in like your high school, there's like always a few kids that you're like, oh, I know this person's going to be a success, even besides whatever status they have in high school. Obviously maybe there's someone in high school that you're like, oh yeah, everyone likes them, or they're really cool, but you're not like, oh, they're going to be so successful. You're kind of like, oh yeah, she's cool now at school, but I don't know what she's going to do for her career. Or, I don't think they're going to be successful. Or like, yeah, he's the captain of the football team, but he's not that smart. I don't think he's going to do well. And I feel like you always give off a vibe of competence or success, or just radiating this energy that like you're going to be doing big things, and you're very focused. You're very ambitious. It could give you also kind of this scarcity quality where people may feel like you're talking to them, you're interested in them, but you're not like fully in that. It's kind of like I said, the successful person in high school who, when everyone else is out drinking or partying, that person may be at home studying. Or if you're at college and everyone's going to like the frat parties, that's the person who's like, oh, I can't, I actually have like a conference I'm going to this weekend. And even though you might be like, oh, that's lame, you should come party with us, there's a party that really respects that and is like, okay, this person is going to do big stuff. This person, I can see this energy of success. I can see that they're not so desperate to have everyone like them, and they're not so worried about fitting in the moment, because they have their eyes on the prize for bigger things. They're really accomplishing so much. And that is very attractive as well. Not someone who's like clamoring to be liked or desperate for approval, but someone who is really, proving to the world that they are successful and they have bigger dreams. They're not satisfied with just like being the coolest guy at the frat party and doing a keg stand and having everyone cheer in the moment. They're trying to like get that job at the company that's like gonna shock everyone and getting an internship and, doing a study abroad in London or whatever it is. You know what I mean? They're not like, they don't care as much about like people thinking that they're cool in their like local math class, and they have their eyes on the prize for bigger things, and that I feel like also makes you attractive. Like there's something about you that may seem a little above it all. Like sometimes people may even get a little jealous or envious or kind of triggered by this, or be like, oh, so you think you're better than us, whatever. But I feel like, at the end of the day, they do respect it, because they kind of can sense that you have your eyes on the prize for bigger things. Something else is occupying your mind, and you're very long-term focused. You're not just trying to have fun in the meantime. You're thinking like 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, a year down the road, and it has this success resonance, the success energy that it gives you. Let me get into some astro dice for you. Pile number 4. So let's see. What's the astrological energy at play for pile 4? Okay. So we have the 10th house, we have Sagittarius, and we have the North Node. So Capricorn, Sagittarius, North Node. Okay. So let's start with the North Node. So that is destiny energy. That is our sole purpose for this lifetime. So again, I feel like you give off this vibe of someone who's going to be doing big things. People can tell this about you. And this could give you a lot of magnetism, because it's like when you can tell someone's going to have success, when you can tell someone is going to do something really big and special, it becomes very interesting. I remember there was someone at my high school who, it wasn't the year, it was like maybe my sister's year. So it wasn't my grade, but one of the girls, she started modeling for like Dior and stuff. Like randomly, she started getting jobs for like these big fashion companies. And my sister was telling me about it, and I was like, what? I was like, that's so crazy. Wait, she's like flying to Paris and she's doing ad campaigns for Dior and other like top fashion houses. And it was just the wildest thing to me. Like I actually knew her older sister because she was in my grade. But I was like completely shook about it. And it made me see even her sister, who I knew and, didn't feel any kind of bad way about, but it's like suddenly you see them in a new light. You're like, oh my God, like dang, they're modeling for Dior. Oh my God, have they met like Karl Lagerfeld, or what are they doing in Paris? This is so exciting. You know what I mean? And it changes your view of that person when you see the success destiny. I don't think she ended up becoming like a huge, huge model. I think she modeled for a couple years in like high school and then gave it up or went to college, but it was like a big thing. And I remember being so like, whoa, because I'm thinking like, I was like 17, 18, all I'm thinking about is like where I'm going to go to college and friend stuff and whatever was going on with my boyfriend. And then to find out, oh, like someone's actually flying to Paris to walk in a fashion show for like Chanel. It's like a head trip, even though she was like 14 or something. So yeah, I feel like that's the vibe here where, there is this powerhouse energy, this North Node energy of like embodying something really special, accomplishing something very fated, very destinied, something that other people probably couldn't even conceive of. That makes people very interested in you and very curious about what you have going on. And the more you're like not trying to fit in, because again, that girl, probably because she was like flying to Paris or walking in these shows, she couldn't like, she probably, again, she wasn't my year, so I don't really know, but I assume she wasn't hanging out at the same parties and like chugging beer with everyone. She probably had to focus on like looking good for her career, and so she couldn't stay out as late, and she probably had to watch her diet a little bit, and she probably had to like not go to every single class because fashion week was happening. And instead of that being like, oh, that's lame, of course it's like interesting. It's like, wow, that's so cool, she's skipping class to go be in Manhattan for fashion week. That's interesting and exciting. And again, I feel like you guys give off that vibe that you have your head kind of not in the clouds, but like focused on something bigger and brighter and more exciting than just the here and now that everyone else is used to. If you live in like a small town, you may feel like people really are, impressed by you and see you as someone that like, wow, they're going to accomplish big things. We have Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is the 9th house of travel, higher education, accomplishing big things. And Sagittarius is very curious, very bright, very optimistic. It's ruled by Jupiter. So it's all about those benefics. It's all about good luck. which is the card you guys pulled. So people may just think you're destined for good things, for accomplishing a lot, for going new places, for trying new things. You may seem like someone who's very not satisfied with just the status quo or wherever you live. Like I said, if it's a small town, you may seem like someone who's going to be accomplishing a lot, on to the next, doing things big, bigger and brighter and better, and not just the usual, not just keeping things small, but like amplifying things. Jupiter expands anything it touches. So I feel like you give off this vibe of someone who is going to accomplish a lot and going to have so much success. And that adds to your magnetism. And also Jupiter is very curious, or Sagittarius is very curious about things, and also really embodies that success energy that I feel like you guys also have. Then you have the 10th house of honors and public acclaim. And it's ruled by Capricorn, an earth sign, which I mentioned. Capricorns are perfectionistic. They love to do things right. They're often highly ambitious. And with the 10th house of public honors, this is an energy that can get a lot of attention or can attract a lot of success in the end. Of course, Saturn, which is the ruler of Capricorn, is going to test the heck out of you, push you. It's like that, drill sergeant or the hardest teacher, but it's going to reward you in the end. And there's a toughness and a resilience that a lot of Capricorns embody, where someone else might be like, oh my God, there's a challenge with this. Oh, this is so hard. I don't want to do this. And Capricorns are like, bring it on, baby. And there's this resilience, there's this strength, there's this inner, almost steel, iron rod quality to them that makes them really remarkable. And you can find yourself being like in awe that like or Capricorns are really not very daunted by things. They're not easily dissuaded. If you say, this is going to be a lot of work, they're like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, sign me up. Let's go. And so that's attractive as well in a partner. Like, you don't have to worry about them running away, or, if you have a child with someone and they're like, oh, I can't handle this kid, it's too hard. Or I'm having a rough day and I'm going to crash out. It's like they have that resilience. They have that strength that can be so attractive and make you feel very safe around them, because you can trust, they're not going to just run off at the first sign of difficulty. And it can give them this magnetism that if someone is looking for something serious or long-term, or they want something that's going to last a long time, geez, there's no one better than a Capricorn to go to for that. And also, like I said, the 10th house is a career house. It's a house of public honors and acclaim. And you definitely give off that vibe that you're going to accomplish big things. You're going to do a lot, and you're not afraid of a challenge. It's almost like giving me Elle Woods vibes, how she just like always was trying to be better. She became the president of her sorority. Then she goes off to Harvard, and anytime someone told her she couldn't do something, she's going to do it, So it's like, it can leave people really in awe of you and make people just so impressed by you. Pile number 4. So that is what I have for you guys. I really hope it resonates. If it does, let me know down in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your thoughts, your stories, your reactions to things. So please let me know what you think. Also, if you want to see more of my readings, then be sure to head on over to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about who is hating or jealous of you and why are they hating, as well as one about when you're going to be finding your success, and before that, one about your next relationship. But there is so much content to choose from over on Patreon, and you get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. They always get posted over there way early. So if that sounds good to you, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be focused on tarot, astrology, channeling, mediumship, a combination, whether you would like it to be shorter, 30 minutes, or a full hour-length reading, you get to really customize your time with me, so it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com. So thank you so much, and the link for that is in my description, by the way. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye.